The Duke Blue Devils did not need Cooper Flagg to win the ACC tournament. I don't know if that says more about Duke or says more about the ACC and this Louisville team. I thought Louisville played really well in this game, Riley. Terrence Edwards was phenomenal, 29 points. Chucky Hepburn had a solid game, but was somewhat inefficient. Duke just got great playing from Conkinipple. Tyrese Proctor hit six threes. Sion James was really good. I thought everybody stepped up and played their roles at a really high level, and it's why this Duke team is one of the favorites to win the national championship.
Yeah, I think it's really telling even when you look at their offensive numbers where they only shot 44% from the floor, 0 for 5 of their last field goals, no field goals in the final 5 minutes, and they still won by double digits. I
Yeah.
thought in the second half, they did a really good job dictating things with their defense. Nothing easy for Louisville at the rim. You could tell even like Malawash's presence there. It seemed like the Louisville wings and guards got in their head, whether it was Hepburn when he was going to the rim or Hadley. I thought, kind of during that stretch where Louisville was hanging around after Duke made their initial surge and went up double digits. I believe it was a Terrence Edwards three that cut the lead to 7 or 8. And I want to say they got a stop on the next possession, and Javon Hadley caught the ball in the wing, position where he's knocked down threes for most of the years. He kind of pump fake, stuttered for a second, drove to the rim, and almost looked like he could have had a driving lane, and but it just seemed like the presence of Malawash being there deterred him enough to miss the shot. Hepburn had another drive where he got hung like below the rim with Malawash's presence there. It just seemed like kind of like a textbook display of Duke's defense and what they've done for most of the year with just suffocating the life out of their opponents down the stretch and forcing them into tough mid-rangers. And when you're not making your threes as Louisville, really in the second half of this one, I mean, they only made 7 threes as a whole. In the second half, that well really dried up to 2 for 14. Fat Edwards was the only one to hit anything from beyond the arc. Just ended up getting not necessarily ugly, but I mean, Louisville's offense, I would definitely say was ugly in stretches, but I mean, Louisville's a quality enough team to where they kept the final margin respectable.
I think that had more to do with Duke's defense, to your point,
Yeah, for
than
sure,
than
for sure.
Louisville's offense. Also, like when you run this short of a rotation and you rely on Terrence Edwards and Chuck Hepburn to play 40 minutes every night, and they're on their third game in 3 days, there's going to be some tired legs
Hmm.
out there, right? So there's some of that too. But also, Malawatch was as active as I've seen him. Like he was trying to block everything, which
Hmm.
was I think just scary to see as an opponent. Very very intimidating. Duke was aggressive, got to the line 24 times, only 10 times for Louisville. I think that's telling Duke's ability to get downhill. Also, Louisville kind of being scared away in the paint. Your point about Duke kind of dictating things. It felt like the second half they got challenged, obviously with Louisville having the lead and went on that run like middle of the second half where they were just like, okay, we're stepping up here. And that's what you see championship level teams do. Which is why they won this championship. When they get challenged, they meet the challenge. I think the question with Duke in this game, if you liked Louisville, was that Louisville's a good team. And I think Louisville has showed both in the game against Clemson and in this game that they're a pretty good team. They're not a great
Hmm.
team,
Yeah.
but they are a good team. A legit top 25 team, a legit potential second weekend team. But Duke showed that even without Cooper Flagg, like this team can make the Final Four. And Cooper Flagg is going to play in the NCAA tournament. They've told the committee that he's going to play in the first round, so they're not worried about that.
They think
Um,
he's they say first round or just
it,
NCAA tournament in
I
general.
believe first round. I believe that they said he was going to play. The way all this was treated, it seemed like he could have played if this was the NCAA tournament,
Hmm.
but they're just kind of keeping him healthy. But like the fact that Duke was this good without a generational player who has been their best player says a lot about what this team's ceiling is. And I do wonder, like, do you think that they have this experience now without Flag makes them more dangerous or changes anything with how you look at Duke moving forward?
I guess so. It's tough because if you even think back, this is gonna sound like copium. And to be clear, Ralph, I've had a horrible 24 hours. It's been miserable. And yeah, I'm really annoyed right now and not looking forward to Selection Sunday. Sorry, my team sucks. My biggest rival is like rolling through the league. Um, but if you remember back when the first time these teams met in December, Duke ripped off a 13-0 run with Flagg on the bench. Like we've known there,
Yeah.
it sort of boggles the mind a little bit because, I mean, I think Khan is a lottery pick. Where does he rank among like star freshman of the past decade? I don't know. Maybe top 20, somewhere in that range.
Hmm.
Maybe even that feels lofty. Maybe like top 20 freshman in the past 5 years. I think he's probably on that
There you go.
list. But he's not the transcendent talent that Flagg is. And even guys like Sion James, who's a really good role player. I mean, maybe he is just an absolutely elite role player and he's good enough to get you big time wins as like the number two option. And of course, at least I called Tyrese Proctor breaking out of a slump. Like, yay
Yeah, you
me.
did.
There's one positive.
Yeah, you
Except
did.
it's like he's preying on my downfall while doing it. Proctor was really good in his role as well, and kind of seemed to get more comfortable. I guess when you have those three that you can lean on, and you still have that length on defense that somehow didn't really falter much without Flagg in there. Yeah, I think it. I mean, I don't know if it really. I think we knew this Duke team had that ability, but to see it in action is definitely impressive.
Yeah, I mean this is a really good team. This is a really good team. They're the best team in the ACC all season long. Capped it in this. Tip of the hat to John Shire. Tip of the hat to Duke. Like this was a dominant team who I think deserved this win.
I had so many jokes queued up at halftime, ready to go about how, like, oh, are Duke fans? If I was ready for Louisville to pull away in the second half, and I could call out both Duke and NC State fans who say only the ACC tournament is the real champs. I was so ready to do that. So ready to
That's
be
still the
like,
case with
oh,
the ACC, where like they only crown, like they name one champion and it's the tournament champ.
yeah, those are
They still do
bylaws
that,
that
right?
no one
Yeah.
allegedly, but who cares about the bylaws? Like, there's not a team in this league who doesn't celebrate a regular season championship.
I mean, that's entirely accurate. The ACC needs to get up to date.
Yeah, thank you, Ralph. Thank you for your service. But I was so ready to cue those jokes up, and Louisville ruined it because they couldn't make a shot in the second half.
It's tough. It's
Yeah,
tough. I think they ran out of gas. I feel pretty
yeah.
good about Louisville in
I
the
mean,
in
back
the in the NCAA tournament.
back to back nights for Hepburn to playing 40 minutes. I think he rested 27 seconds yesterday. It was either 27 or 33
Yeah,
seconds. I can't remember the exact number, but yeah, that you can tell that caught up with him. 5 for 16 from the field, 1 for 8 from three. A guy who had been so clutch the whole tournament. And do you know? I feel like Edwards probably he played 40 minutes tonight. Like Hadley at 38. Like Edwards had to be close to 40 minutes last night as well. So yeah, you could see it take a toll on him. But then again, Knipple played 38 minutes tonight, so it's not like he was really getting much rest either.
yeah, yeah. But they didn't score the last 5 minutes. Like
Good point.
it
At all.
was. I think that the game did not have the apex or the climax that maybe we would have wanted from a title game.
Hmm.
But I think some of that was how Duke had to play without Flag and just the way their defense was suffocating Louisville. That's what they chose to kind of sat on it, and it worked.